Hello everybody. So this video will be what I will not miss about this 2006 Lincoln Town Car. So you already saw what I will miss, and it's quite a lot. I don't know if this video will be as long as the other one, but there's still some things that I will not miss. Well, let's start with the obvious one. Let's see if I can zoom it in. There you go. 18.4 miles per gallon. So this is an awesome example. So you see I have a half a tank right now, and I reset it every time I get gas. 128 miles for a half a tank of gas. Well, I get it. I didn't like it. It's not a surprise to me, so I understand. Well, there you go. 18.3, right? The car ran for just a little bit. Yeah. Well, also this gauge is pretty useless, but I think some government official probably made them put it in there. Yeah. So let's turn that off before that drops to 18.2. Yeah, I mean the gas mileage is pretty bad. Now it's a big car. It's got a V8. 4.6, we all know and love. Yes, it's very reliable, but Jesus, I mean, 18.4, 18.3. I will look and see what the official average is. I don't remember, and if I find it, well, yeah, just the window sticker, I'll post it on the screen. But Jesus, I mean, that's not a lot of gas. I mean, that's not a lot of mileage for a gallon of gas. And I remember, you know, when I bought this car, at some point, gas was like $4.69 a gallon, something like that. At least where I am. I know, you know, your gas price may vary. Yeah. In a year 2023/2024, yeah, that's pretty laughable. I mean, every car that's probably on this lot, there's a little, what is it, Hyundai something. There's some Explorers out there. There's Corollas. Oh, yeah, don't even get me started. Probably every single car in this parking lot gets a better gas mileage than this thing. Now, none of these vehicles are a V8, so we kind of moved past it. But, yeah, look, I enjoy the V8, but you guys know this is not a powerhouse. This is a pretty basic, pretty good, you know, quality-wise and reliability-wise. But, man, I wish this thing could get just better gas mileage, because the way I drive, it's probably a very light. I mean, if you start stepping on it, you'll get like 16 miles, 15 miles a gallon. So yeah, I mean, all those limo drivers that had this car, that drove this car, and all the police people. Yeah, I mean, I know, even you're not wasting your own gas. It's one thing, but when you have to put in, what is it, like 18.5 gallon tank, something like that. When you have to put like $70 and you barely get, you know, 300 some miles out of it, that's not good. All right, so there's that. Second thing, you know, this used to be the top of the line car for Lincoln, right? There was a time, right? I mean, in 2006 when this car came out, this was the top of the line. Or I mean, yeah, the flagship, I should say, like. What do you really get in this car that's a flagship feature that wasn't available on all other cars? I mean, heated seats. There other cars had heated seats. And I know competitors had heated seats. Actually, Cadillac DTS had cooled seats. And it had a little automatic lumbar that would inflate on the top of the line car. Now, my car, by the way, Signature Limited, was the top of the line trim, right? And they had the Signature, they had the Signature Limited. They had the Designer. Okay, I get it. The Designer was like a special, unique, and maybe you can call that top of the line. And you could have got a navigation system, which this car doesn't have. And you could have an optional factory moonroof, which this one has, or a sunroof. But you don't really get any standout features. I mean, memory seats, yeah, I guess that was kind of not so popular, but you don't get any wow feature. Like, for example, on a Ford Explorer of this era, you could get memory seats, and you could have heated seats, and you could have adjustable pedals here too, which, you know, it's more of a Ford thing. So a lot of Fords still actually have adjustable pedals too. I mean, you don't really get anything special. Oh, you get the clock. The one thing you got, which I can't think of any other cars. Maybe the Navigator, but I have to look. I don't remember how the Navigator, did the Navigator have the clock? I mean, I'll try and post that if I find a good picture. But yeah, you don't really get anything. I mean, the quality. Oh, well, here, I guess on the Signature L, if you got the Signature L version, which I don't know if you want to call it the top of the line, but you got the heated seats in the back, which was kind of more of a unique feature back then. But I know some German and Japanese cars already had that feature. Also, like the build quality. Now, we love these engines, these transmissions. They are pretty good. But the overall quality of the vehicle, just sitting in here, I mean, yeah, it's not soft. It's covered by something, but you know, not a whole lot. The plasticky bits, I mean, all the wood trim is fake. This thing, I will not miss this. No, mine still works. The button, I know these buttons love to pop out. Yeah, this was like this from the factory on both sides. Now, on the other hand, this armrest is super cushy, super nice and wide, and you can put two people's arms, no problem. These things, really? Like, this is the best they could do, and I will not miss this of it at all. It's not even comfortable for me to rest my arm here. So what I usually do is I drive with my left, even though I'm right-handed, and then I rest it here. This is a very comfy position, but I will not miss this. Also, I will not miss the lack of storage. Now, this is a pretty big car in general, you know, front to back. But there's not a lot of storage storage kind of low. Here, you don't have any glasses storage here. You have them here, but that's not big. This is not big. And I love the fact how here there was a picture that they used a lot of, like, I don't remember whether it's here, like the passport people would store. Their passports, which people don't usually do. Okay, but that's it. So you got this, you got the glove box, which is not super big to begin with, but, and then you have these little tiny things. Now, I store my phone charger and my little Bluetooth, which will be included with the sale of the car if somebody wants it. There is a little cigarette burn, which I think I forgot to mention. This car does not smell like smoke. I don't smoke, but obviously at one point somebody did. So this covers it nicely, and I used to use it. Well, I still use it as a Bluetooth for my phone. Although I installed this, and having it on the speakerphone works too. But anyway, yeah, I will not miss the lack of storage for a for this vehicle at all. So there's that. All right, what else? Well, look, I will not miss the fact that this is an old car and there are several things that are broken on it. Now, I'm definitely not going to miss the whole not having a defrost feature, right? Now, it's not a fault of the vehicle per se. Yes, things break. Yes, it's an older vehicle. I get it. Yeah, but it kind of sucks not having a defrost, I tell you. I learned to live with it. This is my supplies. I have my de-icer, my towels, and the scraper. And the reason why I have the towels there is sometimes when it gets super cold, I will spray the de-icer and I will wipe the inside of the windshield to keep the frost, because you get hot air out of this thing, and you get AC as of the last summer, but because it doesn't blow out of there, blows out of here, it starts defrosting from the top to bottom. And it takes longer, so I have to be strategic. But when I can't sit here for an extra 10 minutes waiting for it to defrost, only when it's super cold, when it's just normal, when it's not all frosted over, it's not a big deal. But I will definitely not miss that. Yeah, I need to have a good working defrost. Otherwise, yes, you can live with it. Yes, you get used to it, but it is annoying. Another thing I will not miss is the fact that for a huge car like this, there's not a ton of passenger room in here. Now, there's a reason why I have this seat all the way up, is so that my little one doesn't hit the back of the seat. Plus, it's a lot easier to get her in and out from that door. Even here, right? I mentioned this in plenty of videos. I'm 5'11", not super big, not super small either. I have to drive with the seat all the way back and the pedals all the way extended backwards. So, and I'm 5'11", and if you guys remember, Back in, when these cars were still being sold, they had a Michael Clark Duncan advertise for Lincoln Town Car in particular. And he goes into the dealership. I think he was like 6'4", 6'5". I need to look it up. I think it was 300 some pounds from what I believe. I'll look it up. I'll tell you all the stats of Mr. Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace. And he was like, I need something a little with more shoulder room. And then they never show him, and they show him the town car, and he's like, that's my car, that's my car. Well, they never show him getting in or out of that car. And I'm thinking, like, okay, I'm 5'11", I weigh a bit less than 300 pounds. Okay, well, actually, quite a bit less, but, let's just say somewhere between 200 and 250, let's just call it that. And I'm 5'11", he was way taller than me. How in the world did he fit? And he's like, he need more shoulder room. Yeah, well, I don't know. Here, let's see. Let's see how we do this. There you go. Hello, that's me. Look at this. So if this guy was huge, how does he fit? Now, so right here. So yeah, I mean, I fit well. I'm not complaining about, that I don't fit. Telling me that I have to move all the way there to be comfy. Now I could move up a little, and I can move the pedals up a little, and then, you can have a bit more room back there. But let's see, how do I do this? Well, here, let me come out. Let me get out. Yeah. That's not a lot of room, folks. That is not a lot of room. I'm going to use this opportunity to jump in the back. Let's see. Oh my God. Now this is extremely comfortable. I'm not going to lie. This is super soft. But look. All right, using Mr. Clark Duncan once again. Forgive me, sir, for using you for my entertainment purposes. But I don't know if he was being driven in the back, but if he was driven in the back, I hope that the person who was driving him is tiny so they could move the seat all the way up and Mr. Duncan, Clark Duncan, would have all this room, because he wouldn't have fit. This is me, 5'11", driving. Now, this seat could go a little forward. I have it a little bit reclined, but this is how I drive. This is the way I roll. So sitting in the back, yes, extremely cushy, extremely comfortable. I got this much leg room, or knee room, I should say. Now my feet, on the other hand, are firmly underneath this seat. And once again, in the back, hello. Yes, I have more room in the back, but once again, this is a couple inches. This is not 5, 6, 7 inches more. Cover somebody like him. So they were dreaming. And yeah, that's the thing that I was thinking about. They never show him getting in the back seat or the front seat. And he was so happy that that's his car. And yeah, so that's false advertisement all around. Another thing I will not miss, but this is kind of a love-hate relationship, are these post strap things. Now, they look great. They feel great. The ones in the back are actually real nice. The one in the front, I have a few spare ones. But the ones in the back, especially on that side, they're pretty good looking and actually in good shape. But the thing is, the way that these things are designed, every time you pull on it, they're literally being held by two screws that are screwed into the metal, but there's plastic all around it. And the problem is with that one being used the most, every once in a while I have to get rid of these caps and tighten them, which I guess that's just something you have to learn to live with. But couldn't they design them in such a way where it's like they don't come loose? Because here's another problem. If you tighten them, you will break the plastic. That there's a plastic all around them on the inside. So these caps, they hide it very nice and they look beautiful and they feel great. It says, I think it's real leather. But the problem is, after a while, you keep pulling. One day you go yoink and the whole thing just comes off. And guess what? You try to tighten them and you can't, because you tighten into the plastic. So it's like, well, you can't win with these things. Yeah, so I will not miss, but I will miss. Well, call it what it is. So another thing I won't miss, let's see, anything here? Well, I guess I won't miss this because I don't know why it's here. And it's a motor for a sunroof, but modern cars figured out a way how to hide them. All right, let's see. Let me get out of here. yeah, I will not miss the rust. Now, my new car will probably rust someday as well. But this car I already inherited with a ton of rust. And I mean, it's no secret. You guys saw me film it plenty of times. So I won't miss the rust. I also won't miss the huge trunk. So here, let's pop the trunk. And also the automatic trunk. I mean, it's a cool feature. I don't really care for it. I know it can open and close on its own. I know it's probably designed for the limo people, but I personally have really no use for it. I have no problem if the trunk comes up a little of shutting it off, down myself, and the little pull down feature, which has, tendency to break on some of these cars. Now on mine, it still works, no problem. But yeah, I could never really find a good use for it. At no point did I ever jump inside the car and oh crap, I forgot to close the trunk. Oh, but I have a nifty feature on my Signature Limited. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not a thing. But in any case, these cars are very famous for having a very cavernous trunk. And yes, they do. Absolutely. It's a huge trunk for a sedan car. But you know what? I don't really do, $200, $300 Costco runs. I'm not a Sam's Club or Costco member. So there's been a couple occasions where I could have used, a trunk as big as this one. But at that point, you can just put some of the stuff on the inside, unless you're carrying 5 people. Well, in my case, it's 6 people, I guess, but I never had a need for that either. So, yeah, the whole idea of having a huge trunk, I would seriously trade, this whole shelf, that whole, 1.5 or 2 feet of the trunk that goes in the shelf, I would have traded that for more room on the inside, specifically for the driver. And then I know on the L, you get way more room in the back, but it's again, all this time, oh my God, huge trunks, look at this trunk, look how much it can fit. I personally could never find a use for it. Some groceries, some things here and there, don't really get the whole hype. And yeah, there you go. Just I don't know what's going on, on this car, right? You can just shut it and it's fine. Oh, let's see. I don't know. Well, here's another one. I will not miss the fact that these wipers cannot be changed until you run the car and then you stop the car halfway through, so they clear this little lip, and then you can actually, replace the wipers. I don't understand what's going on. Why are they designed the way they are? And a lot of times, cars will have the service feature, where you would press a button or do something in the setting, and then the wipers would kind of jump up a little, and then they would automatically stop for the service mode, so you can change the wipers here. No, you have to actually trick the car in order for it to replace your own wipers. Another thing that I just thought about while we're talking about servicing and stuff, I will not miss the fact that you have to remove the entire headlight housings, in order to replace a light bulb. I've never had a car like this. I don't understand what the designers were thinking. Why do you need to do that? Why couldn't they come up with some sort of an access door? And I understand removing this plastic that kind of ties everything, more neatly together. But really, they couldn't come up with a way. There's plenty of room in this underneath this hood to make this available. Up to the point of get rid of the stupid plastic and give me some sort of an access door to replace a light bulb that doesn't have to turn into a 2-hour project. So I don't get it. I don't understand why they thought that this would be a good idea. And I imagine if when these cars are cop cars, or limo, well, I shouldn't say cop cars, because on a cop car, you could actually change it. I believe you don't have to do that on a Crown Vic. You don't have to remove the whole housing. On these town cars, for some reason, the way that they designed it, how they all fit, there's no way to do it. So every time I messed around with these headlight housing more than I care to admit. Look at all this room. They could just move things back a little and then give me some sort of a portal door. Same thing goes on the back. Who, thought it was a good idea that you have to remove this entire thing. You have to remove the liner. There's two or three, I don't remember, bolts, and you have to remove the entire thing to get to the lights. I can only imagine what it takes to replace this. I hope I'll never know. I mean, it works for now, but Jesus, like I don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, this kind of sucks, especially this one. And you guys know that this turn signal doesn't work, and I try to replace the light bulb. It's not the bulb, it's something else. So I'm gonna kind of not mess with it. All right. Well, I think I covered it all. I mean, on the outside, once again, except for the wipers and the headlights, there's not a whole lot, that I will miss. These rims, they corrode, but I don't think it's a town car or a Ford thing, because, for example, here's a Corolla from probably around the same time. Maybe it's a little older. Maybe it's like a 2005 or 3 or something like that. But as you can see, the corroding rims, it's not just a town car thing. It's just an old car thing more than anything else. Here, see that? Yeah, so it's corrosion. It's, again, here it is on mine. Look how nicely the center cap stands out, amongst all the dust and stuff. So, well, and let's see. Well, I guess the last thing I will miss is, which, I mean, it's such a tiny thing. Yeah, but these cars are still perceived, and probably for forever will be perceived. Oh, it's a grandpa car. It's a grandma car. I won't set my foot in there. If you're one of my relatives, I don't even want it for free, because it's huge, it drinks gas, it's old, it's scary, it's I don't want it. Yeah, I guess there's that notion. I mean, it didn't really affect me too much, other than the fact that every time we would go somewhere together as a family, we always took my wife's Forester. She never once, I think she's been in this car in the last 4 years, maybe 3 times, maybe 4. Yeah, we never go on dates in this car or anywhere. I think the few times where it's like her car was in the shop or it had a recall or something like that, and she had kind of no choice. Whoops, this tree came out of nowhere. Yeah, but there's that. Yeah, these things have a stigma behind them, which, again, yeah, I actually drive like an old person. Everybody tells me that, but that just means more careful and not speed, and gain speed very slowly and methodically, and then scrub speed about the same way, and the nice and floaty boaty feel. Yeah, I mean, I like it. So I will actually miss that, the floaty boaty, but I already covered that in the other video. So all right, guys, well, here you go. Here's the stuff that I will not miss. So if you want to experience this car, please let me know. Maybe it's still for sale, who knows. All right, see you, everybody.